Hi, I'm Tom Glassman, and I've been photographing for well over 40 years. And I'm here with a few quick tips on how you can immediately start taking better photographs, whether you're an old pro or you're trying to master a new DSLR for the first time, or even if you only shoot with a cell phone. And the way we're going to do this is to look at two or three different photographs and discuss why they work, why they don't, composition, and more. My goal is to get you in and out quickly so you can spend more time shooting and less time watching me. So let's get started. Welcome back. I'm very excited about today's episode because this is our first request session. And actually, some people who know me and following this thing knew I was doing this actually requested some of these images. So I guess that technically makes it a request session. Also, it's going to be all black and white film. But again, you'll notice in this case, this is Boston looking up. When I worked in Boston, I used to carry a little point and shoot Pentax camera around with me with Tri-X film in it. I'd go out at my lunch hour, and it's bright, harsh sun, harsh shadows. And this is actually, what I was looking here was patterns, lines, and shapes. You see a bunch of lines going this way and shapes going here. You have patterns here. Even in here, they change all the way up. Patterns, dark and white, all the way up, even to the corner. And it's hard to see here against the black background, but what that is an overhang from a building on the street. And I like the black shadow it cast and sort of, framed the top there and kept it from just being too distracting. So again, what you're looking for is patterns, shapes, lines, leading lines. Because there's an even mix of black and white, I didn't have to do any exposure compensation. So it's just a straight shot. And it's kind of a fun, again, image. I like the lines. This particular building here is right near Faneuil Hall in Boston, which is one of those places that celebrated the Revolutionary War and some other eras. So you have the old and the new. In the same vein, I mentioned earlier that I worked in Boston, lived there, and I lived in the Charlestown Navy Yard, so I used to take a water taxi into work. And coming home about 5:30, 6 o'clock, got off the taxi, and you're on the pier, and there was a metal shed on the pier that had peeling paint on it. It actually housed a lot of equipment from one of the America's Cup boats, Courageous, I think. Can't be sure. But what was happening was the sun was hitting the water and shooting up. It was being reflected up. So that's why these paint chips have shadows on the top part. To me, what I was looking at was the light and dark, the shadows, the patterns, and it just became a nice abstract. Moving in close, someone's going to say, "What the hell is that?" I've had people tell me they're icebergs, but it's just a fun image. It's abstract. It makes you think. It looks unusual, and that's, to me, what makes a fun, interesting photograph. And you just take the shot and see what happens. See if you like it. In the same vein, these are 4 oil storage tanks. This is black and white. There's one tank here, another tank here, another tank down here, and a fourth one here. And this was in Portland, Maine. It was a gray day. Luckily, it was middle gray, 18% gray. So the sky here was gray, and all these tanks were gray. So out of the corner of my eye, what I'm seeing is just black, and the gray sort of disappeared. But I knew I wanted to accentuate the difference. So in this case, I'm shooting Tri-X film. I used a red filter, and which tends to drop out midtones. And then when I took the shot, again, I didn't have to allow for over under exposure because everything was middle gray. But I'm dropping out the midtones. But I slightly underexposed, so the gray wouldn't get burned in when I took the shot. Then when I developed the film, I underdeveloped the film to drop out the midtones. Then when I printed the image, I printed it on an enlarger with a lot of light for a short amount of time on high contrast paper, each aspect of that dropping out the midtones. Then when you develop the print, you put it in the developer for a short amount of time so the midtones don't have a chance to burn in. Then it goes in a stop bath, you stop everything, and this is what you get. By the way, when you shoot film and you have this in mind, you can't shoot other kinds of images. The whole roll of film has to be developed for just these types of particular image. And then after I got this print, actually I was able to scan the print and convert it to a digital image for some of my shows later on. But that's what's going on here. So hopefully that's interesting. But what I want to show you is like in today's modern digital age, you're out there with a camera. If you're doing black and white, it's best to shoot in color, because if you shoot in color, you get 16-bit depth, you get more tonal values. Then when you convert to black and white, you can go in and reduce the channels and preserve a lot of tonal information in the whites and the grays. I can get into that more at some other point, but what I want to show you is this is a case where it's a color photograph. I'm still thinking black and white. It's my first love, but it was sort of a dark area here with snow and just this leaf branch with thorns coming here. You can see the darker gray and the white snow is more in sunlight. But again, it's a color photograph, but I'm still thinking black and white. In the same vein, some horses in the snow. I had to wait for the two horses' heads to come together, but I'm looking at black and white together. So again, it's color. I'm still thinking black and white. So if you can pull it off in color, great. If not, shoot it in black and white. Look for sharp lines, contrast patterns, and then you can take it into Photoshop and just desaturate the colors, convert to black and white, and have fun. Anyway, once again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. My young computer-savvy assistant reminds me that it's really important to ask for likes and subscribes, but I would also love some comments below discussing what we're diving into and what you might want to see in the future. With all that out of the way, thanks for watching, and thanks for your patience. See you next episode.